Hi everybody and Happy New Year. It's been a while since I last checked in with you all and thought it was probably a good time to sit down and make a video and tell you all where we are at in the adoption process. So I think last time I checked in, it was back in November, and we had just finished our contract payment. And so with that begins the whole home study process and dossier. And from all of that paperwork that gets completed, we then send it over to Haiti, and then it sits with them and they'll peruse through it, and then from that paperwork decide who would be our best match over there. So anyways, working through that right now. A little bit of logistics. So back in November, we technically started the home study process, but because our agency doesn't offer the home study in our state, South Carolina, we did have to contract with another agency within our state. So that created some challenges. Just we had to do release forms and we had to identify somebody, and they were out on break and then coordinating. So anyways, that in and of itself took about a month and a half. So we're just now finally getting into the home study, which involves having, I believe she's a social worker, but she comes over and meets with us. She's done a review of our home, and then talks with us and helps to prepare us for the adoption and what potentially lies ahead. So it's been going fairly smooth, and I've been quite relieved to hear that a lot of the things that I was stressing about, she will be handling. So anyways, I have with me this. So I've barely gotten started with it, but there's a lot of paper to print out, obviously, a lot of contracts and forms. Yesterday, I just completed my fingerprints. So they do background checks on every single state that I've ever lived in and every single state that Richard has lived in. So, and then we have to do referrals. So I think there's 6 referrals total, some paperwork that needs to be filled out, employee validation, and that too is something that we just provide names and addresses and phone numbers and emails, and our agency reaches out to them and coordinates the referral process. So also very relieved that we don't have to do that. And then the one thing that is a little bit time consuming and daunting that we haven't done is I have to go in to both our doctor's office, Richard and I fortunately share one, and then also into our children's pediatrician's offices, and they have to fill out a form acknowledging that we've had an exam done in the past 6 months and that we're healthy and fit to have a child through adoption. And then they have to sign it with a notary observing. So I had to hire a notary who's going to come out to these locations, and fingers crossed that the physicians are available at the time that we've asked them to be available, and we can get it done fairly efficiently. But that was stressful because, as you know, physicians are super busy, and it's sort of unpredictable whether or not they're going to have time available to fill out those forms. So we'll see how that goes. But that's probably the thing that has me most nervous. We had to get our birth certificates and marriage certificates printed up again, so going through the different agencies for that. Had to get our passports renewed, so doing that right now. And I think really the only other thing that we're working on is our education, which has really been fantastic. So we have to do education for our adoption agency as well as our home study agency. They both have different requirements. And so I think it's like 80 to 100 hours of training. We're almost done. We have one more course left. And then after this is all done, we will, I think, get it notarized like a million more times. It goes off to a bunch of different agencies. And then finally, our adoption agency will get it translated and sent off to Haiti. And that's really when the waiting time begins for getting a match. This is like the one thing that we actually have control over. So obviously I'm very excited to get through it. But because of the holidays and because of the coordination with another agency, it's already been almost 2 months of sitting, more or less, that we didn't have much control over. So that was a little bit frustrating. But now that we're moving, I honestly think that this process is going to take us less than a month. I appreciate all of your support and love. And yeah, this is sort of our lives right now. So, all right, y'all take care, and Happy New Year. Bye.